Hey everyone, welcome back to 100 Days of Coding React and Redux. And in today's video, we are going to write the next functionality of our note-taking app called editing a note. Before that, there is one thing which I need to handle in my code, right? So if I refresh my app, right, you don't see any note because obviously we are not saving the note and that's going to come in the upcoming videos. So let's say, suppose if I add any note, right? So first of all, I need to put a console log inside my note list probably. I'm going to do something here. Okay, so maybe I'll just put a console.log here and I'm going to log all the notes which I'm adding, right? So I'll inspect, I'll go to console. So we don't see any notes, right? For now, I'm going to clean up. Let's add a new test node here. Test one, test one, text, something like this. I'm going to copy this. Okay, so now when I add this node, it's going to come here and I see one note added, right? So we have the title and the text property in our node. And you see, we are getting the error also. Each child in the list should have a unique key property. So whenever we do this map, right, whenever loop through some of the data in React and we add any component in a loop, right, it should have a key property to boost the performance of your application. So that key property helps React, uh, to render your list items in a performant way. So we are not doing that. We haven't provided any key property here. So there is a detailed video in the previous days, where I talked about the key property. So that key property, the good idea is to have that key property as a unique ID. You're getting my point? We can use the index also, like the map function gives us something called the object and the index of the item which we are looping, but I'm not going to use that index because that's not a good idea. So I'm going to generate. So when I'm going to add a new node, so when we are adding a new node, right? Here we are creating a node. If you see here, right? I'm creating a node. We're going to provide one ID, one unique ID property while adding the node only. And this unique ID property, I'm going to use for that key. Okay. So let's do that. Now to generate a unique ID, we can write a JavaScript function. And for that, I'm going to create a new file called, say, inside my components icons here only at the top, of my code. In the main folder, I'm going to create a utils.js where I'm going to keep all my utility function, but not outside the source folder, inside the source folder. Okay, and I'm going to take the help of ChatGPT here to generate that code. So let's expand this one and I'm going to open ChatGPT. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you generate that function for me? So it's a good idea to start using ChatGPT for our day-to-day coding help. So can you give me JavaScript unique ID generate? Something like that I'm just trying to do. It's going to give me this function, right? So now I'm going to use this function, which is going to give me generate. Okay. So I'm interested only in this function. So I'll copy this function from here and I'll keep my browser open like this. Now I'm going to put that function here. So just copy and paste. If you need to understand this code, you can do that. I think it would be pretty simple. It's generating a date.now.toString in a base 36, right? Using toString36 method. And it has explained also, right? In this example, the date.now method returns the current time step in milliseconds, which is then converted to base 36 using toString method to create the first part of the ID. The second part of the ID is created by generating the random string of characters using mat.random method, and then extracting a substring from string using substring method. So it has generated the code also and it has explained the code also. So it's a really good idea to start using ChatGPT now for your day-to-day use. Now, finally, I'm going to export this function as I might be having many utility functions. I'm going to export each and every function, something like this. Okay, so now Inside my add node, I'm going to import that function, generate unique ID from utils, and now I'm going to use that function here while generating my ID. Generate. I need to use some space so that should be able to see that function. So I'm going to call that function and let's do some formatting, right? Maybe like this. Let's save. So while adding a node, I'm generating the ID and I'm going to use that ID as a key property. So now what is going to happen when I'm going to add a new node? So let's refresh the application. Let's try to add one node, test1, text. And if I submit, now if you see inside our nodes array, we can see the ID, right? Now I'm going to use this unique ID for the key property so that this warning should go away. Okay. So when I'm rendering the nodes, I'll go back to the node list. And here I know that I'm getting the property called ID. So I'll grab that ID here and I'm going to use that as a key as equals to ID. Now if I save and should refresh automatically, but not. So test1, text and submit. See that? You're not getting that warning now. And I'm getting the notes also added, note also added here. Test1, text. This is looking good. Cool. So you know how to generate the unique ID, you know how to pass that unique ID inside your node as a key value. Okay, I prefer to have a quick pause here, come back, and probably then we'll move on and start writing our node list. We'll start writing the edit node functionality. Quick pause, come back, and we're going to continue to build this application from there. To build the edit functionality in our note-taking app, this is the idea. This is the high-level idea which I wanted to discuss with you first. So we already have a node component, right, where we are showing the note. So if I go back to my application, right, you see the note here, right? And this is more of our node component. Where is our node component? This one, right? So where I'm showing the entire node view, and that node itself has a edit and delete button. So the idea here is my node is going to have two different views now. So my node is going to act as a wrapper for two different views. The first one will be the note view where I'll show the note. I'm just going to show the note, something like this. When I'm going to click on edit button, I'm going to switch my view to something called edit node view component. Okay, which is obviously going to have the edit node component. So that's the idea I want to implement, right? So if you click on edit, we're going to switch from node view to edit node view. So first of all, so I'm going to use the idea of something called inner component in React. I'm not going to have a separate component for this. I'll just build the inner component here. So node is going to have two different components here. So first one will be the node view, right, which will show the node. So let's have it something like this, which is obviously going to take the props. And I'm going to grab everything from here and return here. Okay, so note view is going to be a new functional component. I need to convert it into a functional component actually. This is a syntax, which is going to get the props. So obviously I'm going to pass these props, title and text, which will be shown inside my note view. So note view, so I've created the first component, this one, right? Let's create the another one, edit note view. So to create that, maybe I'll just maximize it for now. I'm going to write another functional component here, functional component edit note view, which is going to be a function, and we'll see the props, what props it is needed. And it's going to return our component called the edit one, right? So we already have an edit node component, right? Which I'm going to use. So if we click on this, we already have an edit node component. This is the one I'm going to use. So here I'm directly going to return the edit node component, something like this. And obviously it's going to have the props because we need to pass the title and text, right? But first of all, I just wanted to show you again what I did. So inside my note, if I go back to my notes, right, we have note view and edit views. That's what I did. I've created a note view component. This is the inner component, which is available only inside my node.js, and the edit note view, which is another component for editing the note, right? So this is the idea. Now, somehow we need to have this component shown here, right, inside my node wrapper. And I'm going to have some state also for state management, right? So when I click on the edit button, then only I want to show the edit note view, right? And in other case, I want to show the note view. So that's the idea. So we have the components. Now here inside this, I want to have a state. So first of all, inside my node, I'm going to create a state variable called const. I'll have a note. So let's call it edit note, or maybe I'll just call it show edit note view, something like this, and show edit note view. This will be a function. I'll use state for that, and probably, so initially I'm not going to show the edit note view, right? So it imported the use state, right? So initially I'm going to show my node view only. When I'm going to click on edit button, then only we are going to set this state value. Now instead of having this entire view, right? So this is what I've copied and pasted, right? So okay, I'm going to remove it. And initially, I'll just put a div here for now, just to avoid any errors. Let's put a div, right? And let's write a function show, or I'm going to say render node, something like this. This will do the function, right? And now everything is based on the condition, right? So if I have, if not, if this is true, so I don't want to show the show edit node view initially, right? In that case, so I'm going to use and, or maybe we'll use the ternary operator. I want to show the note view, right? Which I have created above. This is a component. And obviously we need to pass the title and text to this, right? So let's do that. I'm going to pass the title, and title is coming from the title, and text, which is coming from the text as a prop here. Okay, so let me have something like this, and else I'm going to show the edit note view. And edit node view also need the props, right? Which I need to pass. This edit node also need the title and text because that's what we are going to edit. So let's pass this props here also, not like this. I'll just pass here. And here I'm going to grab this, just copy this and paste it here. So I'm passing the title and text to both the node view and edit node view, right? And let's see what happens, right? Here also I'm going to pass that. So the title will be title, not like this, title, and text will be text. Okay, let's go into the edit node component and let's have those props here. So title and text. Cool. Now let's put that as a value here inside the input. We'll have the value, which is going to be the title, and here inside my text area, I'm going to put a value as text. Cool. So I'll come back to my node view now. I'm going to save, and we are passing both the values, right? Here and here also, right? Now, I'm going to use fragment. Just fragment here. Inside that, I'll maybe we'll put it on one line only. Let me undo, and I'll say render node. Let's call it node view. Okay. So if I go back to my application now, let me minimize this. So if you see here, right, if I refresh node 1, I'm just going to add the same text here, node 1, submit. I can see the node, right? But now when I'm going to click, I want to switch the view. So I'm going to change the state. So to do that, I need to go to my node view where I have this button, right? Edit button. So on click of this button, actually what I need to do, I need to change the state of this value. And then it's going to show that particular view. So obviously I need to write a on click function on this button. So let's start with that. That could be a good starting point. On click, I'm going to call a function. So now I can write an inner function also inside this node view, or maybe I'll pass some function from here, this node view, right? Which is going to change this state value. So let's do that. So I'm going to pass, let me do some formatting. So from here only on node view, I'm going to pass a function on edit node, something like this. And for that, I'm going to have a function called handle edit node. So this is the function which my node view is going to get as a props. And I'm going to call this function only here. Right? So when I click on edit node button, it's going to call this function which is written here. Now let's handle this function here. So const handle node, handle edit node. And inside this function, I just need to change my state to not show edit node view. That's it. And this should do the job, I believe. Let's see if we don't see any errors. I think this should switch the view. So I'm going to refresh and add a new node, test1 and test1 text, submit. You see that? Right now I'm going to click on edit, and you see that we are getting the exact view, right, for updating. But there is a problem, right? We don't see the style and the formatting applied. That is because I have the edit node component here. Inside that I have edit node as a class name. So maybe some CSS related problem is there, which probably I need to update. So I'll look into that, and I'll update that. Now we have the view, right? So when I'm going to do any changes inside this text, right? And when I'm going to click on update, it should update my node. So that's what we need to do. I would suggest, we did a good job, right, of having this view inside my node. We have the node view, we have the edit node view. Both are coming up very well, right? When I click on edit button, I'm able to see the edit node view. I would suggest have a quick pause here, come back, and then we are going to write the update functionality. I know this video is getting longer, but I wanted to cover one feature in one video. That's the idea. Quick pause, come back, and we'll just write the code for updating the node. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, we need to add some state values. We need to put in the state management system, a state system inside the edit node component. So to do that, I need to go into my edit node component, right? And let's put the state system here. So I'll just use const. So we need two different state variable, right? One for the title, and there will be a set title function is equals to use state, And initially it's going to have the empty value, and I need another one, so I'm just going to copy and paste. This will be for the text, and the function will be set text empty value. Now I'm going to have the onChange handlers. So let's put that quickly on change. So here inside this, I'm going to use inner function only, where I'm going to set the title, and that will be, I'm going to get the event object here, right? Event set title e dot target dot value. Okay, same thing I need to grab and copy and paste here inside the text area, where set title will change to set text. So that way I should be able to edit my values, right? So I'm going to save, and it's showing me the error. So what is the error? Value text on change set title. So where is the error? First I need to see. Let me expand it. Close this one. Module build failed. Edit node identify title has already been declared. Okay, got it. 420. So here I have declared the title. Here also I have declared the title. That's the problem, right? Because initially I need to have some title value. So maybe that is the reason. Or maybe I can grab these values here. So this will be my, I'm going to change this to edit title and edit text. Okay, and I'll grab the initial values from the title. Or maybe can we do this? This would be a good idea. So initially I'm going to grab the value. So this is the title to edit, right? So title to edit and text. But the property name I need to change, right? So I don't want to do those changes. So let's go with the same strategy. Edit title, and this will be edit text. Initially it's going to get the value from the title and the text. Okay, so now I'm going to use this only. So set title, I'm going to keep the function name same. This will become here. And this will be my edit text, whatever value I'm changing. Okay, if I save now, I should be able to see now, right? So I'm getting the values here now. I can change it, right? See, I can change it. And next is I want to update this value. So when I'm going to click on update, obviously I want to call a function which is going to update the node. So again, all the state management I'm doing here is inside my app component, right? So there will be a lot of drill down which is going to happen here, right? So here I'm going to have a function for editing the node. And if you see the hierarchy, right? I have app component inside, I have a node list component. Inside that I'm rendering all my nodes, right? And inside my node, I have the edit node component. And here I need to write that function. So let's go one by one. So const, I'll say update node. And which node to update? Obviously, I need to pass that value also. And this is going to call a function in the parent component, right? So who is the parent of the edit node? Parent of the edit node is the node component, right? Here. That is edit node view actually. So here that function is going to get called, and edit node view is getting rendered here, which is a node component, and node component is inside the node list component. So it's a big hierarchy of component I have, right? A long hierarchy of component I have where I need to pass the values and call the function, which is not good. But there are videos coming where we are going to talk about how to handle such kind of problems in a better way. But right now, let's go with this. So edit node. I want to update the node, right? So I'm going to get the node value from this. So I'll just write a function here on click. Or maybe we'll use the form submit, right? So we have a form. We can use the on submit event, and that will call handle submit. Maybe I'll just name it handle submit. Okay, and handle submit, and obviously it's going to get the event object evt. I'll use, and as I have this one argument only, I'm going to go like this. And I need to pass the ID also, right? We need that ID also, which I need to pass here. So somehow I need to grab that ID, which I need to pass. I'm going to close this node, edit node when I'm calling, right? Edit node view. I need to pass ID. Am I passing the ID? No, I need to pass the ID also while creating the nodes, while creating a node list. Key is the ID, and ID will be another attribute which will pass the ID. Okay, so that will come inside my node, and I need to have it inside my edit node view also, ID. Okay, so if I go into edit node view, here also I need to pass the ID, and you see that it's a long process, and we will see like how we can solve this pretty easily. Okay, so edit node, I'm passing the ID and everything, so I'm getting the ID also here. Now handle submit. First of all, I need to stop the propagation, right? Or prevent default actually. That form refresh I want to avoid. For that, I'm going to use event.prevent default. Next, I need to take this node, right? And with the new values, right? The edited title and edited text, that's what I need to pass to the parent component. So edit node is inside my node component, where here inside edit node view, right? So let's see how we are going to handle that. So inside my node, I'm going to get one prop. So I'll first create a function here, which I'm going to call handle node edit, something like this, which is going to get the node value, updated node value, right? And this function I'm going to pass to my edit node view. So, and I'll say on edit node is equals to handle node edit. Okay, so now this on edit node will become the prop for my edit node view right here, and this I'm going to pass here. Okay, on edit node, which I'm going to get inside my edit node, and on edit node will become the prop. We'll get the value as prop here. So this is the function I'm going to call on edit node, and I'm going to pass the new node object, right? Which is going to have the ID of ID, and the title will be the edited title, right? So edit title, I'll say, and the text will be edit text. So let's see. So when I'm going to edit my node, it's going to grab the ID of that particular okay, and title, edit text, right? And it's going to call all edit node with the updated title and updated text. So I'm thinking a little bit whether I'm going in the right direction or not, because this is more of a live coding. I didn't do any preparation for this. I'm just doing the live coding. So edit node, I'm editing the node, passing the new node value with all the edited values, which is going to come here. edit node, right? Where we have the function called handle node edit. So I'm just going to do the console.log here just to see if we are getting the right note or not. Okay. So let's print the whether we are getting the edited note value or not. So let's minimize this. I need to arrange a little bit. Now, say suppose I click on update. Let's see if we get the new value. So I'll go to console. Just we are getting some errors, but let it be. Now I'm going to click on update. Maybe I need to refresh and add a new node. Let's start from scratch. So this will be test1 text, right? And that's what I'm going to add first. Let's see, it's added, right? Now clear this, click on edit, test1 updated, and this is also updated. Now if I update, I should see that I can see the ID. You see that title is test1 updated and the text is test1 text updated. So our node is getting updated now, but somehow, we need to come out of this view also, and we need to have that node updated in my state, and I have maintained my state here inside. Okay. So that state has been maintained inside the app component. So we need to follow the hierarchy. Let me maximize this a little bit. So here I'm getting the note, right? And note is rendered inside a note list. So again, we need to follow that hierarchy. We need to go into the parent, then into the parent. So here I'm creating the note, right? Inside my note list. So let's do that. So when I'm going to call handle note edit, I want to pass that edited note, the new value, the updated value to my note list component, right? And note list is getting rendered inside the app, and this is where I have my state, right? Because I have my state maintained inside app, somehow I need to get that value, that edited value. I'll show you the markups also, that would probably help you understand, right? So I'm editing the note here, right? I need to pass that updated value to note list, and from note list to the app, something like that. Okay, so let's do that. So first I'll come to my node here. I'm going to have the prop, right? On, not here actually. Inside my node, I'm going to have a new property here called edit on edit node. Again, I'm going to have this function on edit node. This is what I'm going to call here. And I'll pass the new node value. Okay, now this on edit node is going to come from the note list where I'm editing the node. So here, so I just have some formatting, and I'll have on edit node, which is going to pass on edit node, which is going to come from nodes. So on edit node, right, which will come from the node, which will come from the app actually. So I'm just passing that one function, because I want to edit the node, right? I'll show you in the markup probably. So we have something like this. So there is a function which I'm going to write on edit node. Now this function is available inside my app, right? And I need to put it, first I need to give it a note list, because the editing of note is only possible inside the app. So I'm going to copy this, paste, and I'll pass it to on node edit here to the node, and node has, if I update it right, node has the edit note view. See that here, and I'm passing that, or maybe I'll just have it here, and I'm passing that property here. So this is how, I'm following the hierarchy from app, because nodes is only available inside the app, and I'm going to write that function here on edit node, right? And then I'm going to pass here, then here. So entire parent to child hierarchy I need to follow. This is what I'm trying to do here. So let's do that. So on edit node, I'm going to get into node list. I'm calling that, and that finally I'm going to have that here when I'm adding the node list. So on edit node is equals to, and here I'm going to handle that part. Handle edit node. Like handle add new node, we have handle edit node. Or maybe we can change these functions to other functions, right? So maybe I'll just call it add new node, and this I'm going to call edit node, right? And I'll update this here. Okay, add new node, edit node. So let's write that function now here, edit node, which is going to have the node value, right? And so let's see if the things are working. So I'm going to save all. Okay, they're already saved. Let's see if we are getting that updated node value here or not. We'll say node, save, and I'll open my application. I'm going to refresh, test one text, submit. Okay, this is added. I'm going to edit. Let's see 1 Okay, I'm just going to say 1 text. Now I'm going to click on update. See that? We are getting that updated node where? Here in the app. Now I have that updated node, right? I need to update my state. The long path, that's okay. Now let's take this node value. Now the next challenge that we need to handle is, right, how we are going to update these nodes with a new node value. So for that, I'm going to create a new variable, say const, and let's call it nodes only, okay? And I'm going to use my current nodes dot map function. So I'm going to use map function to change one of the object inside it. And the map function is going to get the node, okay? And inside my map function, I'm going to put the logic. So first I'm going to check the node which I'm getting dot id is equals to, so this is the confusion, right? So this will be the edit node, and the node I'm getting is the existing node inside my nodes array. I'm going to compare with edit node dot id, and if it matches, right, I know that particular node I need to update. So I'll just return that particular node, but we shouldn't mutate the state directly in React, right? So I'm going to use my dot destructuring syntax. I'm going to destructure and return a new object, newly created object, right? Else I'm just going to return the existing one, which I'm getting. I don't need to update anything, right? And not note, actually, I need to update with edit node. So this is more of a logic to update the state. And finally, I'm going to call the set node function, and I'm going to destructure the new nodes array here, new nodes array, which I have created. Okay, so this is more of a state update. I'll go back to my application. Let's refresh. And yes, probably this is not going to work because I need to update my state also. So we need to go back to the node view, right? So when I'm going to click on update, edit node view, right? Handle node edit. We are passing all those functions here, but we are not updating the state here, right? Show, I need to hide my show form, and I need to show my node view actually. Show edit node, I need to make it a true the value, right? Initially it is false. So to do that, handle node edit only, I'm doing editing the node here. So let's change that state here only. So set edit node view to false. So that's going to bring the initial value, right? Okay, so I'll go back, refresh, test one text. I'll submit. We have a new node, right? Let's update it. 11 dot text update. Nodes before, cannot access nodes before initialization. Okay, where I'm getting this error. In app.js 18.1. Okay, here. Const nodes. And yeah, so this is nodes and this is also nodes. So that is the problem, right? So maybe I'll just call it state for now, right? And state, I'm going to use here. Or we can say updated nodes also. You can call anything. I'm just using state for now here. Okay, I need to refresh again and try adding a new node. Test one, text, submit, edit, 1111 text. Let's try to edit, update. See that? We are getting the new title and new text. So our node is getting updated correctly, right? I know this is a really long video. We did a lot. I've written a lot of code, but I wanted to cover one feature of the application one time. I suggest, watch this video again and again, code along with me, then only you're going to understand it. If you binge watch, just watching the video, that's not going to help. That helps maybe, but not 100%, I would say. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. We'll continue to build this application in the next part of the video. Until then, you take care, goodbye, and thanks for watching the video.